Test mic. What's up, guys? Learning with Rich here. So, in this topic, it's gonna be about managing views in Revit 2020.1. All right, so this lesson that we are going to discuss describes how to manage the different views displayed in our what do you call this portion? So, you call this portion project browser and change their properties. Okay, so views are essential um, elements of a project. They gather all the information related to a specific part of a building model and represent it as required. So the changes made to the properties of one view do not affect the changes made to the properties of another view. So take note of that. So I'm going to repeat again. The changes made to the properties of one view do not affect the changes made to the properties of another view. However, if you change the model in a particular view, the changes are visible in all the associated views as well. Okay, so take note of that one. So now, what is a view? Okay, so what is the view? So view is actually provide a unique feature of our building. So you use views to display the building model from different direction and references. So at the moment, my view is in 3D view. So it's pretty obvious if you have a look at the project browser and on my drawing area here, 3D, and here is also 3D. Okay, so right now I'm in the 3D model. So that is one example of view. So another example of view is what? Your floor plan. So if I double click the level 2 lighting plan, so this is our floor plan. And also we have call out of section. And then we also have section. Okay, so we don't have elevation here, but that is also another example of elevation. So you can also display a plan view as underlay in another plan view to highlight the relationship between components on different levels. So when you start a project, depending on the template that you will be using, certain views are created by default. Okay, so you can edit the properties of these views and create new views as required. So you can navigate within a view using your mouse wheel, steering wheels, or the view cube. Okay, so one good thing about Revit is its capability of bidirectional associativity. Okay, so when you say bidirectional associativity, it ensures that the changes made in one view when it comes to the model are automatically reflected in all the associated views. So if I'm going to select this mechanical equipment here, if I'm going to delete this, definitely this will be deleted as well in your 3D view, in your plan view, in your section view, even in your schedule. Okay, so it is applied to every component, this bidirectional associativity. Every component, view, and annotation of a building model. Okay, so another example, a change made to a air terminal, for example, in the plan view is reflected in all associated views such as elevation or 3D views. Okay, so like for example, if I select this air terminal here, okay, if I modify this, changes that I made here in this floor plan view for the air terminal, it will be reflected as well to other views such as elevation view, section view, or what else? 3D view. All right. Okay. So now that is basically the uh, knowledge or definition for the view. Now, the next thing that I'm going to show you is options for duplicating views. Like what I have said, this whole topic that we are going to talk about uh, at this time is about managing your view. And one of the way to manage your view is to duplicate your view. Okay, so with duplicate views, you can use different settings for views that display the same portion of a building model. So how to duplicate? All right, so let's say for example, for this one, okay, so I'm just going to zoom in like this. So as you can see, as I zoom in this level 2 HVAC floor plan, it shows here the annotation as well, right? So aside from the 3D model, the elements, so you also have here the annotation or the tag. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you one way of duplicating your view. So to duplicate your view, all you have to do is to right click the view that you want to duplicate. Just right click that. And then after that, there's an option here, duplicate view. So we have several options here in duplicating your view. One is duplicate. The second one is duplicate with detailing. The other one is duplicate as a dependent. All right, so the first one is duplicate. So I'm going to select this. And there you go. So this is now the duplicated view. So I'm going to right click this and then I'm going to rename. Okay. And then let's say I'm going to call this duplicate. Okay, so that is the option that we have used for this, duplicate. So what is duplicate? So duplicate obviously creates a view that is the copy of our primary view. Okay, so a duplicate view displays model elements but not annotation elements from the original view. So as you can see, if I am going to zoom in here, so notice that there is no annotation here. Why? Because the option that I use to duplicate the original view is duplicate. All right, so remember, a duplicate view displays model elements but not annotation elements from the original view. All right, so let's right click again our reference view and then let's select here this time duplicate with detailing. So obviously that is what it is. Okay, so it duplicates not only the model elements, but it also includes the annotation. If I'm going to zoom in, you will see here the annotation, the text. So it's also duplicated. Those tags that we have here is also duplicated when you use duplicate with detailing. All right, so let me just go ahead and change this one. Duplicate with detailing. All right, enter. Okay, now for these three views that we have here, for the original view, the duplicate, and the duplicate with detailing, any changes that we made on the properties here, it will only affect the current view. Any changes on the view properties, not the model elements, but I'm talking about the view properties. Okay, so any changes on the view properties will only affect the current view. It will not affect the other view. It will not affect the original view. Okay, when you change the view properties, it will only affect your current view. Like for example, for this one, for the level 2 HVAC plan, let's say I'm going to go ahead here on the view control bar. I'm going to change the scale. So for example, I want to change the scale of this one to 1 is to 100. So I'm going to select 1 is to 100 and let's wait for that. There you go. So it's now changed to 1 is to 100. So if I'm going to select here the duplicate, notice that this is not affected. By the way, for you to be able to zoom extents, you can just press the middle button twice quickly, just like that. Or of course, you can right click and then zoom to fit. Okay, so zoom to fit, right? And then like what I've said, you see it's not affected. When you change the scale of this view, the duplicate view is not affected as well as the duplicate with detailing. So if I double click this, as you can see, it's not affected. So if I change this to 1 is to 50, change that to 1 is to 50. So notice that it will change to 1 is to 50, but the other views are not affected. Okay, so let me repeat again. Any changes that you made in this view or in your view when it comes to view properties, it will only affect that current view. It will not affect the other view. Okay, and by the way, this is the two ways of duplicating your view. So the third option to duplicate your view is duplicate as a dependent. All right, so let's say for example, I'm going to rename this one. I'm going to right click that and then I'm going to rename this. So let's say I'm going to call this level 2 HVAC plan. south. I'll just call it north. Okay. So level 2 HVAC plan north. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click this, right click, and then duplicate. Now I'm going to go ahead and select the third option, duplicate as a dependent. So once I select this one, so notice that there will going to be a duplicate now here as a dependent. So let me just rename this dependent view. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and call this, let's say this will going to be my south. All right. So south. So this is my north, this is my south. So what is duplicate as a dependent? So duplicate as a dependent, it creates a view that inherits view properties and view specific elements from the primary view. In the dependent view, you only show a specific area of the window. You can insert match line, which is I'm going to show to you later on, to indicate where the view is split, and view references to link views. So this option helps to create views that show portions of a plan when the entire plan is too large to fit on a drawing paper or drawing sheet. Okay, so like for example, for this one, since I named it North, I want to show only this portion. So for me to be able to do that, I will be going here on my view control bar. Remember, this portion is view control bar. And then I'm going to turn on the crop region. Okay, so I'm going to click this. It will turn on the crop region. There you go. So this is the crop region. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this and then I'm going to resize it by clicking that blue dot to adjust the crop region. Okay, there you go. There you go. Right? Okay, so this crop region is being controlled by this one, by the crop view. So currently the crop view is activated. So if I'm going to click this, notice that there will gonna be an X mark there, red X mark, so meaning it is turned off. So you will notice that although the crop region is turned on, it is not being cropped because this is turned off. So if I'm going to click this, it will crop the view. There you go. Okay, and notice that some of the annotations here are not being cropped because annotation crop here on the properties is disabled. If I'm going to check this one, the annotation that is outside the annotation crop will be hidden in our view. So check this out. If I'm going to check this, notice that the annotation here disappear because if I'm going to click the crop region, you will see the blue dot here, or I mean this dash line. So this dash line is our annotation crop. So meaning to say any annotation outside this annotation crop will disappear if you activate your annotation crop. So if I'm going to uncheck this one, the annotation will show again, right? But if I'm going to click this, all the annotation that will touch this annotation crop and outside the annotation crop will disappear. Okay, so now that I have set up my north, I do not want to see the crop region, so I'm going to hide the crop region. Still, the crop view is activated. I'm not going to turn off that. I'm just going to turn off the crop region. There you go. So this is my north. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up my level 2 HVAC plan south. Double click. And then same procedure. Okay. So the annotation crop is already turned on. Let me just turn off first the crop view. Okay. So let me just turn off that so I can move the annotation crop lightly, easily. Okay. There you go. There you go. So that's the south. That's the south. So once I set up the annotation crop, I'm now going to crop the region, crop the view. Click that one. And there you go. Okay. So if you see any annotation outside and you do not want those annotation, you just need to check the annotation crop here, which is in my case, it's already checked. So I'm now going to hide the crop region. There you go. So it's now hide. So as you can see, I now have here the north, and then my dependent here is the south. So what is the difference of dependent view from the normal duplicate and duplicate with detailing? So the difference is that any changes that you made on the view properties of your parent view and then the dependent view, it will affect each other. So like for example, the south here, if I change this to 1 is to 50, I change that to 1 is to 50. Let's change to 1 is to 50. If you go to the parent view, it will also change to 1 is to 50. Okay, so unlike the duplicate here and then duplicate with detailing, wherein their property is independent to every floor plan. So when it comes to dependent view and its parent view, their properties applies to each other. So like for example, if I change the scale, like I change here the visual style to shaded view. So there you go. So it's shaded view. So if I go to the dependent view, double click that. So you will notice that it also updates, right? So basically, those are the three types of duplication or three options for duplicating your view. Okay, so hopefully you got this three option. All right. Now, let's say, for example, I'm going to create a sheet here. So what is the use of dependent view? So let's say I'm going to create a new sheet. Although we have a separate topic for this one, but let me just create a new sheet here. So I'm going to quickly right-click the sheets here, and then I select new sheet. And then I just go ahead and select load here. I want to load a title block. So I look for the title blocks. Let's say I'm going to select, how about A0 or A1? Let me try A1 and then open. Okay, so that's the A1 metric. I'm going to create a new placeholder sheet, then select OK. So this is my A1 sheet. So what I'm going to do is, in this view, don't worry about the name. You can always change that one. So that is just the default name. So let's say I want to insert here the North level 2 HVAC plan. So I'm going to simply drag and drop that here. There you go. All right. So after that, since this is a little bigger than the title block, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that, and then I change the scale here. So how about 1 is to 100? Okay. So that's now my 1 is to 100. 1 is to 100. Okay. Then I'm going to put it here. So how about I make it 1 is to 75? Okay, 1 is to 75. So let me customize 1 is to 75. All right, so 1 is to 75. For example, this is now my view. So 1 is to 75. Okay. And then if I going to drag and drop the south here, just like this one. There you go. So that's my HVAC south plan. So as you can see, it will not be fitted here in this view. Okay. All right. And let's say, for example, I do not want to have any other view here aside from the north. Okay. So I do not want to include the south. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this, the south, and then I'll just create a new sheet here. So right click, new sheet, and then A1 metric again. Okay. And then I'll drag and drop the south elevation or the south level 2 HVAC plan. All right. And then I'll change the scale of this. So instead of 1 is to 75, okay, because it's too big. So I'll just make it, how about 1 is to 50? Okay, so the other view, the north will definitely change as well. Oh, no, not 1 is to 50, sorry. So it's 1 is to 100. So I want to make it little smaller. There you go. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. So this now my view. So another way to manage your view using your duplicate view, duplicate as a dependent view. So another way to manage your view is by using a match line. Okay, so that's one thing that you can do if you have a duplicate as a dependent view. So from that view, you can create a match line on that. So like for example, you can put a match line here. Okay, so I'm going to open the north here. So I open the north, and then I'm going to put a match line here. So to put a match line, you just need to go to the view tab, and then there's the match line. So you can click that one, and then you can create a match line here. So like for example, from here to here. So just like that. So that's your match line. And then I select here, check, finish. So there you go. So you now have a match line there. And if I go to the south here, so I can also create another match line here. So create a match line, create a match line from here to here. Okay, and then I select here, check. Okay, and then from there, you can now put a text here, annotation. Let's say you can put a north to north, and here you can also put to south. And another thing is you can also modify your match line. So let's say you want to make this a little bit thicker, and let's say you want to make it dash line. So for you to be able to do that, so take note of this command. So the command is VV. Okay, so that is visibility graphic overrides. Okay, you can just type VV, or from the properties, you just need to look for visibility graphic overrides. All right, so you just need to click edit, and then you will now see the visibility graphic overrides. Okay, any changes that you made here on the visibility graphic overrides, it will only affect your current view. Okay, so I'm gonna modify the match line here. So I go to the annotation categories, because match line is an annotation category. And then there's your match line there. So I'm going to override it, and then I'll change the pattern. So I'm gonna make it, how about dash? And then I'm gonna go ahead and change the color. I'll make it red. And then I'm going to change the line weight. So let's say I make it 6. Okay, and then okay. And there you go. See? So I now have a match line there modified. So same with my south here. Okay, you see, it's also updated because they are both uh, dependent to each other when it comes to the view properties. So if I go now to my floor plan or to the sheet here, so as you can see, there's the match line, and then there's also the match line there. Okay, so this is to indicate where you cut the view. Okay, of course, you can also put a text there. Then you can also put a text there, like for example, to north, to south, and then from here, let's say you can type to north, or it's up to you, whatever text or annotation that you want to put there. So basically, that's the use of match line in your dependent views. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to close the other views here that I have opened, the other active views. So I'm just going to select that. So I only have now one view here. So just a recap, we have discussed about duplicating the view. Okay, so duplicating the view, I'll just close the other views. So duplicate the view, and then we also have duplicate with detailing. Okay, and also we have here the dependent view, and then the dependent view. Okay, this is the parent view, and then this is the dependent view. All right, so I'll just select here tiled view so that you'll be able to see all the views. So I'll just type ZA. There you go. Okay, so as you can see, I also have here your match line. Okay, so of course you created a match line. You'll be able to see that also in other views. Okay, but if you do not want to see the match line in this view in your duplicate with detailing view, again, you can always go to the visibility graphic override. So make sure you activate this view, and then you click the visibility graphic overrides, and then you can go to annotation categories, and then you look for match line here. So match line, so you can just uncheck that so that it will turn off the visibility of the match line. So it's now turned off. So it will only affect this view. Okay. So same with this one, I'll click this to activate this view. I go to visibility graphic overrides. I go to annotation and then look for match line. Okay. So match line, uncheck, and then okay. Okay. So there you go. So we have here the duplicate. When you say duplicate, it will only duplicate the model elements. When you say duplicate with detailing, it will duplicate the model elements together with the annotation or the details. Okay? The detailing, the annotation, the tags. Okay? Now, the other one we have here, the duplicate as a dependent. So this is our parent view, the north, and then this is our dependent view. So what happens is any changes that you made here when it comes to view properties, it will affect also the parent view and vice versa. But it will not affect the duplicate with detailing view and the duplicated view. All right. So other ways, by the way, to modify the property of your view here is, of course, you just need to go to view property. Okay. Excuse me. All right. So you have here, like for example, the view scale. So if you want to change the scale of this, of course, you know that already. You also have that here on your view control bar, if you still remember the user interface. So this is your view control bar. You can also change there the scale. So when you say view scale here, it changes the scale of the view as it appears on the drawing sheet. Okay? So as you can see, there's the scale value wherein you can define a custom scale value. So scale value is enabled when custom is selected for view scale. Okay, so like for example, if I select here custom, you will notice it will becomes enabled because you can now customize your scale here. But if you are going to select here, let's say 1 is to 50, and then just apply, and then you just click again here, you will notice that this one will becomes disabled. It always follow that, except if that is in custom. Okay, so you also have here display model. So hides the building model in detail view. So it comprises three settings: the normal setting, display. Okay, see this one. So you have here different display settings. So you have the normal setting. It displays all the elements normally and is intended for all non-detailed views. The other one is do not display. The do not display setting hides the model and displays only detailed view-specific elements such as lines, regions, dimensions, text, and symbols. So when you say view-specific elements, that means that particular element, you can only see that in the view where you have drawn it. That's why it's called view-specific elements. These are the elements that you can only see in the view where you have drawn it. Okay. Now, the other option here is on halftone. Okay. Halftone or before its underlay. So the underlay settings or halftone displays all detailed view-specific elements normally, and the model elements appeared halftone or dim if you are going to select halftone. But usually I'll just use here normal. And of course, you also have here detail view. So detail view, Aside from the properties, you can also find it here on the view control bar. Okay, so detail level. Okay, detail level. So there's your detail level. So what does this do? So detail level, it applies a coarse. So you have different settings here. It applies coarse, medium, or fine detail level setting to the view scale. So this setting overrides the automatic detail level setting for the view. Just take note, okay, just take note that if you are going to change your view, like for example here in this view, let me just maximize this view. Okay, so for this view, as you can see, I have a duct here. If I change the detail level here to medium, okay, let me just span my drawing here. Okay, so this is now my view here. Okay, and let me turn on the thin lines because as you can see, the line weights here are too thick. I cannot see the fine detail of my pipe here. So I'm just going to turn on the thin lines. So what happens is it displays all lines on screen as a single width regardless of zoom level. So if I'm going to click this one, so let me just zoom in here. Yeah. All right, so if I'm going to turn on the thin line, so this is what will happen. See, it's now finer. So it's just a single line width. So I can see the detail of my pipe here and then the detail of my duct here. So going back, if I'm going to change my detail level to medium, what will happen is you will notice that my pipe here will becomes line. So it will becomes representation of your it becomes line as a representation of your pipe. Okay, so that is what will happen if you change your detail level to medium. Okay, so it will affect your pipe. Not only your pipe, but also your conduit. So what will happen, it becomes a single line here. You see my pipe here. So if I change this to a coarse detail level, so not only the pipe will becomes affected, it will also affect your duct here. So when the detail level is coarse, so your duct will becomes single line representation. Okay? Aside from the pipe. Okay, so if I make that medium, the duct is not affected, but the pipe is affected. So if I change that to fine, so it's just a fine view here. So it will show two lines here for the pipe, two lines for the duct. Okay, so that is for your detail level. So another options that you can find here or parameter that you can find here on the properties is your, of course, the visibility graphic overrides. So this is this one. So it controls the visibility of objects by category in the view. So you can specify visibility settings by using this uh, visibility graphic overrides. Okay, so this is a very powerful tool feature of Revit. So take note that any changes that you made here on the visibility graphic overrides, okay, it has something to do with the settings of your view. It will only affect your current view, okay, but not your duplicate as a dependent view, okay. All right, so that is your visibility graphic override. So what are the other parameters that is most of the time we use here? So we also have here discipline. You see there's a discipline here. It specifies the discipline of the project view and controls the display of model objects. So like for example, currently the discipline here is mechanical. That's why it's highlighting the mechanical elements here. But let us try to change this to, how about electrical? Let me try to change to electrical and click outside. So let's see what will happen. Okay, so notice that it's now under here. The view is now under electrical, right? So because that's the discipline that you have selected for that. You see, this one, the discipline now there is electrical. That's why it's now under electrical. The subdiscipline here is HVAC because the subdiscipline here is HVAC, right? Okay, so let me just put it back again to my mechanical. So I'm going to click this and then I select here mechanical. So I click that one and just click outside and then it will go down again here. There you go. So it's now under the mechanical discipline. Okay, so the other parameters that you can see here on the properties, we're going to discuss that as we move on. Okay, all right. So let us do again some exercise here. So let us try to explore our view control bar. View control bar, you can apply this also in the 3D view, in the plan view, in the section view, or elevation view. So let me just go to the 3D view and then let us explore our view control bar. Let us explore some of the option here. So I'm going to select the home view. Let's just cancel this one. This is the 3D view, and then I close inactive views so that I only have one view here. Okay, so let's say, for example, I only want to see all the category of duck here. Okay, so for me to be able to do that, I'm going to select one duck. Okay, so the category is duck. And then from here on the view control bar, I'm going to select this one, temporary hide isolate. So if I click this one, you will notice that there's an option here, hide category. So what will happen is once you click that, it will hide, oh, not hide, sorry. So it should be isolate. Okay, so let me reset the view because I want to see all the docs. So I click this one and then I'm going to isolate the categories. Isolate category, so it will isolate all the category of docs. So from there, you'll be able to see all the elements whose category is doc, regardless of the sizes or the type. Just like this one, the size of this one is different, but as you can see, the category is doc, right? So that is what will happen. Now, if you want to go back to the normal view, as you can see, this is just a temporary hide isolate view. You just need to click that again and then just reset it. So let's say, for example, you want this equipment to be isolated, only this equipment. So same procedure. Go to the view control bar, look for the temporary hide isolate. So you can select here isolate element. A while ago, we select category. This time, element. So meaning to say only the selected object or element will be isolated, right? So you just need to click that before you orbit. Okay, so to orbit, remember, you just need to hold the middle button and then you hold the scroll button or you hold the middle button and then you hold the shift and then you can pan your drawing. So it will orbit the model. So you can now view your model like this. So that's how you isolate an element. So let us now reset again. So this time around, so let's say for example, you do not want to see all the duck. Okay, so I'm going to select one duck. I do not want to see all the ducks, so I select this one, and then I'm going to hide the category. So I do not want to see all the duck, and boom. So all the duck is now hidden. Okay, right? So let us now select again, reset. So if you want to hide an element, don't worry. So you just need to click that. You can also select multiple elements by using a window selection like this. So probably you can go to the top view using your view cube, and then from here you can select easily, just like that. So let's say you want to hide these elements, only that element, so you can select here hide element. You can select one element or elements. There you go. So it's now hidden, right? Okay. So that is what temporary hide isolate can do. This one. All right. So basically, the other tools here we already explore, like this tool, the crop region, and then the crop view. The other tools here we're going to discuss that one as we move on. So that is our view control bar. Some of the tools in our view control bar. All right. So let's do some example again. So let's say, for example, I'm going to um, open up my north here. So let me open up this one. or let's say the call out. So let me open the, how about the section 18? So I open the section 18 here, and as you can see, there is a call out here. So there is a call out for this view. So this is a call out, right? So the name of that view is call out of section 18. So to open the call out, so all you have to do is to click the call out and then right click, and then you can select go to view. Okay, so that's one way. Another way is knowing what is the name of this call out. So for you to be able to know the name of that call out, you just need to click that, and then you just need to look here. So the view name, the name is call out of section 18. So now that you know the view name, you just need to look here on the project browser and then look for call out of section 18. There you go. You just need to double click that to open the call out. So that's the second way. The third way is to just simply double click this call out head. Okay, you just need to double click that, and then it will now open the call out. As you can see, it's now open here, right? So this is now the call out. So any changes that I made here on this call out, it will also affect your section view, your elevation view, your 3D view, and other views. Like for example, if I'm going to move this up, I'm just going to move up like that using the arrows on my keyboard. So if I go to the section view, so as you can see, it's also affected, right? Okay, so what we are going to do is I'm going to apply view template. So what is this view template? If I go to the view tab here, so you can see here the view template. So this is another way of managing your view. So a view template is a collection of view properties such as view scale, discipline, detail level, and visibility settings that are common for a view type. So you use the view templates to standardize settings for views in a project. So this is very critical when you are setting up your project. So you need to set up your view template. So how are we going to do this? So let's say, for example, I'm going to go ahead and open up my, how about I duplicate this one, the level 2 HVAC plan north. So I'm going to duplicate that. So I'll just use duplicate here. Okay, just duplicate. And then I'm going to just going to delete this one. So I delete this. So take note that this is not related anymore to this view here because this is just a duplicate. Okay, so I'm going to rename this, like for example, this is my level 2 HVAC plan, let's say return. Okay. Level 2 HVAC plan, return. Okay. So after that, I'm just going to uncheck this one so that it will not crop the view. There you go. Okay. So I call this one level 2 HVAC plan, return. Okay. And then after that, I'm going to duplicate again this view, the original view. So I'm going to duplicate that using duplicate with detailing. Of course, expect that it will also include the details here. So I'll just right click this and then rename. Okay, and then I'm going to call this supply. Okay, so I call this supply. There you go. So again, I need to modify this. I do not want to crop the view. Okay. So I have here return, and then I have here supply. So what I want to do is I want to highlight the return doc in this view, and then in this view I want to highlight the supply doc. Oh, let me just I do not want to have this. So I'm going to hide that match line. Go to match line. Okay, so it's now hidden. Okay, same with my return. So I go to VV, annotation categories, match lines. So I'm going to hide that. Okay. All right. So I now have here the supply and return. So my goal here is I want to highlight the return doc in this view. And then here, I want to highlight the supply duct. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, so let's do this. So what I'm gonna do here on my, I'm gonna open the return here. So I'm going to right click the return. So I'm going to right click that, and then you will see here, apply template properties. And then you also have here, create template from view, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select your apply template properties. Apply template properties, and then you will now see here the apply view template dialog box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for the view template here, HVAC return. So this view template is already set up to the point that it will only highlight the return duct. So what I want to do is I want this view template to be applied in this view. Okay? So I'm going to select this one because I want to apply it here. So once I select here, okay, so you will now notice that it's now set up. Okay, so again, this HVAC return view template, the match line there is checked. That's why I'm just going to modify it again. So match line, I'll just uncheck. Okay. So as you can see, the setup here is it highlights the return. Okay. So it's different now here from the supply, and then here's the return. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up, or let's say I'm going to right click this one. I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to create a view template from this view. Okay, so I'm going to create a view template from this view. So I'm going to, no, instead of doing that, so I'm just going to open this time the supply. I right click this one, and then apply template properties, and then I'm going to apply the HVAC return. Okay, so there you go. So the highlighted elements here is the return, but that is not what we want. What we want is to highlight the supply. So let us modify this view. So I'm going to open up the view, the visibility graphic overrides, and then I will go to the filter. Okay, because in the visibility graphic overrides, there is a filter tab here that you can use. So as you can see, since we apply in our level 2 HVAC plan supply our HVAC return template, you will notice that the return is highlighted here. The return is checked. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to uncheck that, and then I'm going to check this one. Okay, and then I'm now going to select here. Okay, oh, before I select that, okay, so after I check here the supply, so I'm now going to select annotation categories here, and then I want to hide the match line. Okay, hide the match line, and then okay. And then as you can see, it will now highlight here the supply. Okay, so I see we just managed to show the supply elements here and then the return elements here. Now, what we want to do is we want to create another view template HVAC supply so that just in case we have another view that we want to highlight the supply, all we have to do is to apply the view template. But right now, we don't have that view template. To create the view template, so since this is the setup that we want, wherein it highlights the supply, I'm going to right click this, and then from this view, I am going to create a view template. Okay, so create view template from view. So I'm gonna go ahead and select this one, and then I'll just put a name here. So I will call it, obviously, that is my HVAC supply. So I select here, okay. Ooh, all right, so it's now added here. So I now have an HVAC return template, and then I now have here HVAC supply. Let me just rename it. So I'm just going to put a dash here. There you go. There you go. All right. So I now have a template for HVAC supply. So what is the importance of that? So the importance is Just in case you have another view wherein you want to highlight the supply or the return, let's say that is levels 3 to 20, okay? You can just apply the view template to those view instead of setting up the view because you already have the template for that. So this is a very important thing that you need to understand the view template. So the key here is you need to set up first one view, and then after that, from that view, you can create the view template. All right? Okay, so I think that's it for the part one of Revit MEP 2020.1 Managing Views. So this is just the part one. So I'm going to discuss part two of this topic because it will gonna be a very long topic, very long video if I'm going to continue this one. Okay, so this is just the part one. So hopefully you learned something from this video. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.